Welcome to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, episode 488. This week, we are going to talk about the April housing market data for the Albuquerque area that just came in. Got the updated numbers there. Talk about housing affordability, the economic impact of short-term rentals in New Mexico. A fascinating study just came out on that. And of course, Tracy, we have homes of the week, open houses. And I have one little data point that I'm going to bring up that may surprise some people. It relates to how many investor-owned properties there are in the Albuquerque area.
Okay. Sounds like we've got a full slate ahead, Tego.
We always do.
We always do. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with, let's just do just high level. I mean, I've got my deep dive market update video on our YouTube channel, but let's just go through some of the numbers real quick because there's this, I don't want to call it what we're seeing is that the number of homes selling has continued to be relatively weak. We know that. I obviously, if you've been listening to this show, you know that, you've heard that already from us. At the same time, we still do have price appreciation, especially when we look at the year-over-year numbers. So let's just go through some of the data. There was 831 homes sold in the Albuquerque area in April, which is up slightly from last year. Last year it was only 740. We got a little increase there. But if we go back to 2022, there was almost about 1,100 homes compared to, again, 830 this year for April. So we're still having slow sales. You know, that's just kind of where we're at. One thing that's happened just in the last couple of weeks, Tracy, is we've seen a surge in the number of homes coming on the market. This is post even this report that I'm talking about here. You know, last week of April, this first week of May, we're seeing a lot of homes coming on the market, and it's normal for this time of year. But at the same time, we've got pressure on interest rates. Interest rates have spiked up in the last 2 weeks at the same point. So even though we've got a lot of homes coming on the market, there might be some people who are getting priced out by the interest rates. I don't know if you're seeing that as, kind of anecdotally.
Well, I actually don't want to talk about that. What I want to say is we know that there are a lot of homes coming on the market soon, in addition to what we're already seeing, because a lot of our service providers, people we rely on to get houses ready for market, are very busy suddenly. So like the photographers who we typically use to take those great professional photos for us. Usually we can get them out within a day or two of when we call them and say, hey, we need this house photographed. Right now they're 2 to 3 weeks out. They're just slammed. We talked to one of them last night. He said, just call me. I know my schedule's full, but I'll figure out a way to take care of you guys, right? Home inspectors also. We were at that point for a while there where we could get somebody in within a week, 10 days. Right now we're going, okay, if we put on an offer that we're going to have our inspections done in 2 weeks, we need to make sure that we're making those calls right away to those different inspectors to get those things scheduled because they are busier as well.
It's interesting about that because we think about that in the sales cycle of selling a home. You've got the photography, which is at the very early stages of putting the home on the market, and the home inspection, which is at the stage after it's gone under contract and working through due diligence period. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that both are busy. And just to speak to that, if we look at pending sales for April in Albuquerque, it's up about 20% from last year. Now, if we go back to last year, 2023, I mean, these were some of the slowest months we've ever seen in a long time in the Albuquerque area. So we are coming off some very low. And again, the number of homes selling. Let's just hit on prices real quick, because I know that's kind of the thing a lot of people are very curious about is, what's going on with home prices in Albuquerque. And what across the board we're seeing, I like to talk about price per square foot. Tracy, I know you're tired of me saying that, but price per square foot, kind of is a good indicator. It gives a real good feel of what's happening with prices, a little bit different than just overall median. But price per square foot is at $209 median for April, $209 per square foot. That is about a 9% increase from last year. Last year was not that much of an increase. It was
over the previous year.
Yeah, or over the previous year. The thing that's interesting and shouldn't be surprising to anybody is the homes under $250,000 and below, which are few and far between these days. That saw about a 12% increase, where homes that are in that 600,000 and above, the more, what we kind of consider the luxury market, they were only about 4% higher than last year. So no surprise, I don't think, really. I mean, obviously the lower priced homes, because of affordability challenges, are in much higher demand than obviously the luxury homes. And just one last thing, when we do talk about median price, again, middle price of all homes sold in April was $346,000. That's only about 3% higher than last year. So you got to balance that whole median thing. I know the builders, the new construction homes, which are included in this data, they're getting smaller. The median price of new homes has come down because they're building smaller, more efficient, let's say, value engineered homes to meet the market, right? To get home prices in a range where it works for folks. So this is just quick summary there. Again, if you want to take a deep dive into all the housing market data for Albuquerque, you can follow me on YouTube. It's the Venturi team. You can find it there, or I put it on Facebook all the time, Tego Venturi, as well as our website at Welcome Home ABQ. So that's the quick rundown April data.
Let's talk fun things.
Yes. So wait. That was not fun? Come on.
Wait.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I know, for you.
Yeah.
So it's been sort of a blue ribbon week here, the weather in Albuquerque
extraordinary
this week. And this weekend is the Central New Mexico Parade of Homes. We talked about this last week. This is the last weekend of it. So great opportunity to go out and see new construction. There are a lot of really great builders in the parade this year. And the homes are there's some in Moriarty.
Yep.
There's Los Lunas.
At like what price? That's the extraordinary thing about those ones at Stillbrook's building in Moriarty.
Yeah.
It's like $250.
They start at $250 base price for a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Yeah. Great properties, and they need them there in Moriarty.
Can I side note you again?
Yeah.
I'd feel remiss if I didn't say this. There are homes under 250,000 or under 300,000, in that 250 range. That's one of them, Stillbrook and Moriarty, as well as best value homes from Twilight in Northwest Rio Rancho, and they're under 300,000, and 2-car garages as well.
Right. And Fellowship Homes was building in Rio Rancho, a house under 300,000. They may have all gone pending sale already. We talked about them. I know that people were very interested in knowing about that. Okay, so Moriarty.
Yes.
Los Lunas, Mariposa, which is Northwest Rio Rancho, Placitas, and then points beyond, obviously, West Side, Valley, the far Northeast Heights. So you've kind of got a broad mix.
And the Parade of Homes, these are all new construction homes, correct?
This year, I believe they're all new construction homes. Some years it's remodels also. There are some builders who really specialize in remodels. I'm not sure if any of them are remodels this year. I think they're all new.
When we were building our house, Tracy, I mean, it's been 25 years now, but we loved going to the parades to see what the latest design trends are, to see what the latest finishes are, to see what the latest, technology is, be it just a cabinet technology or a appliance technology or a shower technology.
Totally.
Anyway, it's a fun experience.
I think about one of the things I'm so thankful for that we saw in a house, Tego, and we don't have too many bathrooms in our house. And one of the homes we toured used the guest bath as the one attached, or the one for the house, kind of the family restroom, so to speak, was attached to the guest bedroom. So it was multi-purpose versus a guest bedroom having its own bath. And so we have that set up, and it was from touring a house that we saw that and went, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It was a great idea.
It was a great idea. Sure. So some of the builders, Westway Homes, they're a signature builder this year. Go see them. They have some properties in Rio Rancho on the parade. They build in a variety of areas. Great local builders. Hakes Brothers, also local. They are not open on Sunday, though. They're never open on Sunday. Richmond America has homes, Abrazo Homes, other, great local builder here on Sydney Road, which is sort of central Rio Rancho, right off 528, kind of down the hill from the Target. Pulte Homes and Echo Terra, which is a very high-end, beautiful custom builder. They have a home open in Placitas. D.R. Horton has is in the parade. Diego Handcrafted Homes. We've had the pleasure of touring the Diego Handcrafted Homes. They have one in the northwest part of Albuquerque that's pretty phenomenal. Las Ventanas Homes has that area off Matthew and Rio Grande in the valley. They've got a house open there in the Parade of Homes. Wazak Design Build has one in Guadalupe Villa Northwest. Twilight Homes has got their homes in the valley also open, as well as one in off Rio Grande, a very beautiful luxury home, because Twilight's one of the builders that will build on your lot and might be able to build more affordable or very luxurious high-end homes. So it's a great option for people who might already have their lot or want to pick a lot and find a builder. Stillbrook. So lots of great local homegrown builders, and then a few of the big nationals like D.R. Horton, Richmond America, Pulte, those, you know. So lots of opportunity to go see
on
homes.
Top of that, I mean, not obviously, but it looks like it's going to be a great weather weekend. I know a lot of people want to get outside, but there are a lot of open houses this weekend as well, right, Tracy? If people want to go out and see homes. Again, we talked just a little bit ago about the surge in the number of new homes,
coming on the market,
but new listings on the market. A lot of, resale homes.
Newly listed homes on the market.
Newly listed resale homes on the market. And we've had a big surge of that, which means, usually when homes come on the market, you'll hit an open house, especially that first week or two that you get on the market. So there's a bunch, right? So
this weekend, in addition to the Parade of Homes, there are 163 homes on the market Saturday and 120 on Sunday. So lots of open homes. And one in particular that we really want to talk about, it's on Pawnee Trail.
We know it was interesting when I was looking at it, Tracy. There's homes from 220,000 all the way up to 2.4 million.
2.5 million open houses.
Yeah.
So a lot of people on luxury think, well, we don't do open houses on luxury properties. Well, there are a couple over 1 million that are open this weekend. So you're right, from 219,000 to 2.5 million.
Wow.
For the open houses. Yeah, I forgot to mention
a whole variety.
I opened the MLS search and I did an open house search, and I went by price, and I went, holy moly. So I had to look at some of them, some really beautiful homes in all price ranges. But obviously, if you are really searching for a home, get one of us realtors on your side to help you navigate it, to set a route, to get you in houses that might not be open, and to help you navigate the whole process of how to buy a house in today's market.
Tracy, I know you have a home of the week you want to talk about here, but before we do that, I want to talk about something I just got the other day, and that was a study that was done by the Short-Term Rental Association of New Mexico. And Carl Vidal, I got a shout out to him. I think he authored this, and man, it's excellent. And what they did is the study is named Economic Impact of Short-Term Rentals in New Mexico 2023. What they wanted to do, which was obviously wise, is look at the short-term rental market and how obviously it impacts our economy here in New Mexico. And we say short-term rentals, we're talking about the VRBO, right? The vacation rental by owner. We're talking the Airbnb, the short-term rental. It could also be things like furnish finders, right? Where it's a website where you can list properties that are furnished. Those ones are more what they call midterm rental, where it's maybe month to month, maybe not just day to day like you do on Airbnb. Anyway, they looked at that entire market, and this is what they found, Tracy. They found out that there was direct visitor spending. That's rental. That's the rental, obviously the accommodations, as well as everything else. Tourism, food, everything. Right? It was about $746.3 million into New Mexico just in 2023.
Wow.
On that short-term rental. They estimate that it was about 1.01 billion in total economic impact in New Mexico. Again, this is the short-term, rental world. Not obviously, but Santa Fe area was, the largest by far, just because obviously Santa Fe is a big tourism draw. Lincoln County was second, which
old Pat Garrett, the sheriff. Lincoln County. Billy the Kid land.
They also estimate there was about a little over 14,000 jobs in the short-term rental market. So it's actually has a pretty good impact on the job market. And it's not just the people that own those that are supplementing their income by owning, being an Airbnb host and bringing in income that way. It's also obviously all the maintenance people and the cleaning people and all that stuff that you need. Get this, the short-term rental market brought $82 million into local and state tax revenues. The big number. It's not huge, but
no, it's a big number.
Yeah.
But do you think that that's additional, or how much of that is additional versus what we would have had people been staying in hotels?
Oh, yeah. You're going to go down this road. No, that's a fair question. And I don't know the answer to that.
I know you don't, but
yeah.
I'm like going, okay, well, short-term rentals, did it really increase the number of visitors, or
that's a fair question. And I think
maybe people could stay longer because they were in a house, or maybe more people could come because you don't need 3 hotel rooms if it's a family of, or a grouping or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question. And obviously that those type of properties where you more flexibility and what you can do with it opens up a lot more possibilities for people as opposed to just a hotel room.
Right.
And so, yeah, it'd be interesting to know, what the trade-off there is. They estimated they had about 2 million visitors in short-term rentals in New Mexico in 2023.
I bet they have a number from 10 years ago of how many visitors they said came to New Mexico versus the 2 million.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be a way to know if the short-term rentals have really had that same impact. Anyway.
Yeah, I think these are all fair questions. The thing is, the point is there is a market for that product.
There really is.
And the thing that I want to get to is that there's about 14 short-term rentals in New Mexico. There are about, I think the number is 780 single-family homes in New Mexico. And there's this big argument like, well, short-term rentals are taking away from people that can buy those homes. And that's a fair debate we can have. We can have that debate. And I think you have to balance the economic impact. What's it taking away from? What are we gaining? And
what is the owner's rights?
Yeah, right. Well,
to use that property how they
there is want. That. Yeah.
So
there's
speaking
anyway,
of Tego,
can I just say, if somebody wants to see this study, I'm going to put the link in it. It's a 20, I don't remember, it's a bunch of pages report that goes deep dives into all of this. If you want
where
to
are you going to put the link?
I will put it in the show notes in YouTube and Facebook and on our
Do you Instagram, Tego?
Some days.
Yeah.
Some days.
Okay. So this was not on the list, but we have a short-term rental that's coming to market. It's in coming soon status right now.
For sale.
An active Airbnb being sold, or an active short-term rental being sold fully furnished with a book of business through the end of the year. I don't know how full the book of business is, but they have reservations for many months to come. So you can't buy this property and say, nope, we're not going to rent it to people. I'm going to live here. You have to honor those reservations. Yes. And that's how this property is. The beautiful thing is it's right by Old Town on New York Avenue. So that's just, I think New York is just south of Central, kind of across from the Old Town area, close to Rio Grande. It's just west of Rio Grande and just south of Central. So just sort of kitty corner to Old Town. This property is listed at $325,000. It's listed in our category of residential income property. So it's not listed as a residential property in our multiple listing service, but it's a really cute little house, fully furnished with a book of business. We have all of the income and profit statements and everything, $325,000. So if you're interested in having this short-term rental right by Old Town and take it over, give us a ring. There are very limited showings once it's available for showings. Right now it's coming soon. We'll have an open house midweek next week when there are no guests there, because there are guests there here and there for the next few weeks. So
yeah, it's a good investment opportunity. I ran the numbers on it as an investment option. It came out to about a 7 cap. And if you know about investing in real estate, you know what a 7 cap means, as well as, and that was based on 2023 numbers. 2024 is probably a little bit better. So anyway, it's if you want to take a and really understand the investment opportunity there, just reach out to us and we can break it down for you.
So we kind of got away from the topic of the open houses, but there's a big open house Saturday 1 to 4.
Squirrel,
right?
us?
Yeah, we got off this subject, but so it's new to the market. 824 Pawnee Street Northeast, 87123, listed at $305,000. It's a 3-bedroom, possible 4, but the 4th would be sort of, I think there's a sunroom on it or something, with, 2 baths, 2-car garage, but it's new to the market, good location, open from 1 to 4 Saturday.
Okay.
So don't miss that one if you're looking, because sure to be a hot item. It's renovated, it's freshly painted, it's been updated, it's a sweet property.
Okay. More data.
Oh, okay.
I know. In the reason I bring up the story like the short-term rental, because there's been a lot of noise about short-term rentals,
Right.
and regulating short-term rentals, and in my opinion, a lot of that is just a red herring, meaning it gives the policymakers and people to blame something other than their policies and procedures for housing in a market, then basically blame somebody else, right? Blame the short-term rental market. Another popular one to blame is the Wall Street investors buying up all the single-family homes.
Right.
Big
money.
Big money. We've heard that, and there's a long backstory, and I know you love backstories, Tracy. Kidding.
I have other things to talk about, so come on, let's get this going.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody knows the DISC, the DISC, Tracy's the D and I'm the S. So anyway, sorry. This company, Parcel Labs, they're nationwide. They've got housing data on everything, every single home, every single county, all the records on everything. And I was able to get them to put a study together, or at least the data on the Albuquerque metro market and how many homes are owned by investors, and a breakdown of who owns those homes that are owned by investors. And what they found.
So we talked about this at dinner last night. This is actually really interesting to me. All the data that you provide, I thought this was really interesting. So drum roll, please.
Well, part of it was there's all this noise about, again, corporate America buying all the homes, and that's a big problem and we need to fix that. And it's like, no, it's not a problem. It isn't. So here's the data. It happens, but it's not a big problem, especially in Albuquerque. So what do we have? We have of all the homes in Albuquerque, and let's say there's about 400,000, 71% of them are single family, housing units. Of all the housing units, about 71% of them are single family homes. All right. So that includes apartments and so on. Investors of those single family homes, investors own 7.4% of those. Okay. And I can break it down further, but I just want to get this out here. Most of the owners that own like 2 to 9 units is 6.6% of that 7.4. So most of the homes, we are definitely a mom and pop, as they call it, investor market for residential housing. People that own homes that rent them out. Most of the investors here are smaller operators. There's another small group of about not even a 0.5% that own 10 to 99 units, right? And then there's another small group, about a 0.5%, that own 1,000 or more. Those are the corporate Wall Street owners, right? Those are the big money people.
And what's interesting about that? I know you have something else to say about it, but the news lately in the last 2 or 3 years is corporate Wall Street people buying single family homes.
Right.
We know for a fact that a lot of those 0.5% that you just mentioned of homes owned by 1,000 units or more were purchased like 2010, 11, 12, 13 by one company
into 15. Yes.
All the way into 15 Homes for Rent.
America
Homes for Rent. We're buying everything, and that was about 200,000 then. They're sitting very pretty right now, but that wasn't recent that a lot of those homes were bought by investors in our market.
There were some that were recent that were bought by these, again, big
some,
money.
but it wasn't all just brand
but there's
new.
a caveat to that, and I think this is important to understand. Home Partners of America, they were in our market, and this was actually during
the pandemic,
pre-pandemic and into the pandemic.
Yep.
But Home Partners America, what they did is, yes, they were a Wall Street backed entity that they've out of our market right now anyway, by the way. But what they would do, their strategy is they would help people that didn't have the ability to purchase right away. They would buy the home for them and then lease the home to them. And those people then had the option to just continue to lease the home.
They had a few years where they had to convert it to a purchase.
No, they could keep going. They had the option of they could either just continue to keep it as a rental, or they could purchase it down the road. And so it was a lease to own option, which was a great option for a lot of people, and a lot of people took advantage of it. And you think about the people that maybe took advantage of that in 2019, 20.
They're sitting really good because they had that future price of what they could convert it to a purchase at locked in when they basically had this company buy the house for them to rent.
So I guess what we're saying is, yes, there's a 0.5% of homes in the metro Albuquerque area that are owned by Wall Street, air quote, investor type people. But there's a caveat to both of those, and for the most part, and that's really the only two entities that own a lot of the homes here now, or not even a lot, really. It's not a very big number. It's like
0.5%.
Yeah, 0.5% of about 300 or so, 300,000 homes, let's say.
So good data, Tego. Good
about
job.
1,500 homes. How's that?
Sounds good.
Did I do that math right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a property that we just put on the market this week. It's a 2.5 acre parcel in Tejeras for $45,000. It's on a paved street with electricity in the street.
Whoa.
There is a water system nearby, but I think that it'd probably be better place to dig a well, but that's up to whoever wants it. So it's a well and septic area. 45,000, 2.5 acres. The thing about it is it's an area you know really well, Tego. It's just past the entrance to North 14, and it's on the north side of the freeway off Rincon Loop.
Yes, I know Rincon Loop very well. I used to live on Rincon Loop.
Exactly.
Yes,
when we met, you lived on Rincon Loop. It's not technically Rincon, it's Shade Tree Lane.
Yeah.
33 Shade Tree Lane, but it's right off Rincon Loop. It's what you had a 2.5 acre parcel.
What I loved about that area is when you talk about the East Mountains, it's huge.
Right.
Right. That Rincon Loop area, Gutierrez Canyon area, that whole area is relatively easy to get in and out of Albuquerque.
Right. It's very quick to get on the freeway right there. Anyway, so if you're looking for a lot to build on, 45,000 in the near Tejeras area, we just put that one on the market. So I think that's a great opportunity for people.
Wow. As usual, Tracy, we got through a lot of stuff, but we didn't get through everything I announced at the beginning, but that's typical. We'll have more for next week. And we appreciate everybody that listens. We appreciate everybody that comments on our posts and on YouTube and on Facebook and everything. And I'd love to answer the questions when people chime in on our YouTube channel.
So we are Tracy and Tego Venturi of Real Broker here in the metro area. You can reach us at 448-8888, very easy number, or just get on our website, welcomehomeabq.com, or on the YouTube or the Facebook or all of those different things.
The
Facebook.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Take care.